So, you've conducted your research. You've spent hours and hours on it. You've overcome challenges, taken turns, and fought occasional frustration. But now, you've finally published your research, and that means it's time to share it with the world. Latest Thinking can help you with that, bringing science and the public closer together. The LT publication is designed to help you present your research in an accessible and engaging way. We do this through a narrative structure, where you explain your research in the form of a story in 3 acts. The departure, where the adventure begins. The journey, where the tests and challenges happen. And the culmination, where goals are accomplished. Each of these 3 acts of a story have their counterparts in an LT publication, where we find 3 chapters: question, method, and findings. In the question chapter, you introduce your research question in a simple, direct way. For example, you could ask, is physical activity an effective treatment for bone cancer? But first things first. By nature, research questions are very specific and complex, and the main goal of the narrative structure is to guide your viewers from what they know to what they don't know, and to communicate why this question is important. So you could start presenting the overarching theme of your question. You could say, cancer is the leading cause of death worldwide. Then transition from the bigger picture and gradually get more detailed by saying, there's also bone cancer, and in that case, pharmacological treatments are ineffective. And finally, connect it to your unique approach. Are there other ways to treat bone cancer? What about exercise? In the methods chapter, you need to explain what was required in order to answer your research question. Think about what information your audience needs to understand your journey. What were the major decisions you had to take? The key challenges faced, or the most relevant things to watch out for? In our example, you'd need to compare a bone with cancer in the same person if they did exercise, and also if they didn't. Here, the limitation is you cannot have the same person in 2 opposite situations, so you'd need to make the decision to take laboratory mice instead. From there on, you need to describe the resulting design of your study and the main steps of the process. Here, it's important that you mention the technical tools or techniques you used to carry the process through. Don't forget to explain any technical terms or concepts and provide examples to help your audience understand. The findings chapter is where you share the conclusions of your research and where the key outcome of your study should be revealed. Start selecting the findings you want to highlight and organize them in a structured way. Maybe you have one main research conclusion, 2 or 3, or maybe one finding is more important than the others. In our example, you could share the finding that, indeed, physical activity is an effective treatment for bone cancer. But of course, the viewers would want to understand how you arrived at this conclusion. So you need to explain that, according to your analysis, mice who did physical activity significantly reduced cell proliferation in the bone. Once the findings are clear, you need to show in which contexts they are relevant. Here, the most relevant is that physical activity could be an alternative to existent pharmacological treatments. Showing the relevance of your findings is especially important because it helps different audiences like students, journalists, other scientists, and the main public to connect to your research. Finally, finish this chapter by providing an outlook for further research based on your findings. Are there any unanswered questions? How can your findings be applied to the future? And that's it! Your science story is ready. Now it's time to put your script into play and do the fine-tuning. Keep in mind that the text is intended for a verbal presentation, so it's crucial to speak it out loud to see if it works as imagined. Our teleprompter is an ideal tool for you to test how your story comes across. Once you present your script as a video, you might realize that minor adjustments could improve the narrative. So, practice as often as you like until you are happy with the result. And finally, share the enthusiasm of your work. The world is excited to learn from you.